We've got our final game of the night coming your way. Our opening day of the NLC Spring 2021, and ending it will be Fnatic versus Barrage. Now, this is actually a pretty exciting game. Although Fnatic come in with a very strong roster, probably with the highest profile player that the NLC has to offer, with Forbiven in the mid lane. Not in the jungle, by the way. Forbiven in the mid lane. Barrage are actually an incredibly strong roster in their own right. And I think, you know, this is not as clear cut as one might think just based on these rosters alone.
No, so I think basically that what we're coming in here from Barrage, it's by any means not a bad roster. You got Kevo and Surfer back from the NC, so this is always a bot lane with built-in synergy that you do not have to worry about coming into this split. But as you said yourself, heading up against the Giants of Fnatic right here, it is a tough situation. But if there is a situation where you will beat them, it's going to be this. Pride is soft out. They got Lingard coming out to help them out instead. Lingard, though, is their AD carry substitute. So the eyes are going to be on Mumus, and how are Barrage going to be able to punish an AD carry who's ventured up alone to the top lane where you usually left alone?
If there is a way that an AD carry can play top lane, I think it is this meta with how broken Kraken and Gale Force are. You can play champions like Na possibly in the top lane, Jace, you can play Lucian, you can play Tristana, you can play Vayne. There's just so many alternatives that you can put up the top lane if he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable playing, you know, one of these super meta bruiser champions, which can actually work. But honestly, I just cannot wait to see what Maxi can bring in Fnatic, because Maxi was a big focal point for specifically Gulborg in our last season, and he sort of fell flat. He just didn't seem, you know, to dress to impress with the champions that he was picking, and it was his meta, right? The Needles, the Graves, bringing the fire in. And now, of course, on Fnatic, he has big shoes to fill. He's one of the bigger org teams that we have onto this tournament, and he has to show up.
I'm by any means still the biggest Maxi fanboy ever. I'm still like, they won NLC Fawn, they got second place. Like, he probably didn't show up to the extent I put him on the pedestal, but I still think he's an insanely talented jungler that will do well. And I think the matchup between Debo and him needs to be highlighted today. Debo, a guy that loves to play Nidalee and Lilia, kind of mix them together there. And I think
that, be the next champion.
Yeah, it could be. But what I'm saying is that these two junglers have a similar style, so we're looking at someone who needs to be clashing there. I hope that Maxi on Fnatic, he is kind of put in a tough spot, because on Riddle, on Barrage, his lane has played for him. I'm interested to see, when you have the likes of Forbiven, is that going to change up around Maxi? Is Maxi going to play around Forbiven, or is he going to get resources?
I'm really curious to see just what roles people take from Fnatic here, because we saw in the graphic lineup, I don't know whether that was just complete rubbish, but it said
just calling the production out there.
Yeah, I don't know if the production is just really, really awful, or but when you first pick this Lucian in this situation, like if you've got an AD carry sub, you know, and you're gonna start role swapping and all that kind of thing, maybe
top
you know
lane,
this is the perfect champion to lock in. So the best AD carry in a solo lane for Lingard, who is the AD carry sub.
To be fair, on the roster lineup, it did say Forbiven jungle, Lingard mid, and Maxi top for some reason. So, but no, I imagine Maxi stays jungle. You might see some flexibility between Lingard and Forbiven. But I think overall, I wouldn't be surprised maybe Lingard takes the Lucian to the mid lane, and we maybe see Forbiven, who's probably had Ornn mid practice, to take the Ornn to the top lane. You never know, right?
Yeah, that's what I also wanted to mention, the fact that, you know, all these tanks were actually meta at some point in the mid lane, the Ornns, the sets. Forbiven did play a couple of these as well, so it wouldn't be completely, you know, out of this world if you saw Forbiven going in the top lane with that Ornn and then having the Lucian in the mid lane. Of course, you have to figure out what the matchup is, and now seeing the Akali, Lucian would not necessarily be a bad matchup into the Akali, because pre-6, you can really bully her out of lane, you can really push her underneath the tower, and you can grab so much priority for a jungle like Lilia for Maxi to shine on.
So here's the thing, Akali has gone through a champion that is usually 100% pick ban, and it's on the side of random now. I think that's going to be extremely interesting to watch, because Akali is one of those champions that kind of just rises to your own mechanical skill ceiling. It's one of those champions that is extremely hard to balance because bronze players are gonna suck on her, but you put it in the hands of the likes of Caps, for example, and it's just gonna absolutely demolish people. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Barrage is able to pilot this champion around on an ERL level, specifically and very bold being picked into Febevin, who's arguably the best mid laner we have in the league.
Is that a PSA for players of lower ranks to not please pick a Kali in your ranked game school?
Yeah, also Katarina if you're below the level of Plat, I think.
Oh, get out of here, go.
I'm pretty sure Foxtrot probably has a video out there saying what you should pick in which elo to climb. So I'm sure you can go and find it down the line.
There you go.
I
Good
followed
shout, mate.
what was it, Bomb and Mumu guide, didn't work.
Well, okay, I'm just going to say it's a foolproof plan, but I guess that says quite a lot there, G, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on to the jungle lock-in here from Barrage. We've got the Nidalee, which is nice. Nidalee into Lilia. Lilia is more of that like mega farm focused champion, and I think Nidalee. You're okay. I'm screw jungles. This is it. Lingard in that top lane. I wonder whether they're generally flexing Vayne and Lucian to just see what this matchup is and just try and give the best matchup possible to Lingard here, because I do think that's quite important when you've got an AD carry. Or whoever's going to be piloting this solution, because I think there's quite a lot of flex potentials here on Fnatic. Like you want to get the best champion played into the top laner. I wouldn't be surprised. I think Lucian Braum is absolutely vile, and if you're Vayne, then she's works very well as a top laner, but you do have to get some attention to her. As a jungler, you have to protect her because she's going to be having a fat target on her back, and Lily's absolutely going to be wanting a piece of that.
So I think that because that Fnatic Rising early in the rotation had to go on, oh, we got Lingard, let's put him on duty. Look at all the top lane bans in the second rotation as well. The fact that Debu gets his Nidalee in the second ban phase, it's kind of like, I think that's because we exactly got Lingard. If that had been Pride, it would have been way easier, but now you kind of see the faults of that substitution coming in. And you got an interesting team composition. Whenever you have Braum, you always love to have range champion. Lucian in the mid lane, the Vayne, you can enable insane skirmishes. So there's still something to play from the side of Fnatic. On the side of Barrage, though, we're looking at laners getting Debu ahead, and Mumu's actually taking the Akali to the top side with a facilitator in the mid laner of random with this set.
Mumus is a brilliant player. I've seen him play Akali quite a lot as well, so I'm expecting big things from him. It's going to be an interesting game. Of course, Fnatic a little bit of a disadvantage because they do have that sub in that top side of the map, but we can see they've still got incredible players on their roster. But Barrage still, as we said before, an incredibly talented roster in their own right. I'm just being told that we have had some last-minute name changes for our casters today. I'm going to be handing over instead to XXX Razor XXX and MasterChef.
Hello. I haven't got the X's. That's a shame. Hello. Welcome to the caster desk. Getting ready to go into our fourth and final game between Fnatic Rising and Barrage. Orcs, what are we making of this?
Who's Orcs?
Oh, sorry. Master Chef. What are you making of this?
Thanks, Razor. I mean, ultimately, I think compositionally, a lot of skill expressive champions on both sides. I think seeing the Vayne into the Kai'Sa is a pretty cool one. A lot of AD carry players talking about how you can play the Vayne in the Kai'Sa. Bit of a sort of skill check, confident sort of move to go for that one. But I respect the decision. Another thing to talk about is the Braum. A lot of people haven't really been picking up Braum, and I think this champion is good as a counter pick. I think blinding is terrible, of course, but into Alistair Kai'Sa, I think this is a winning 2v2 for Bean and Rux. If the Alistair tries to engage, they'll win that throughout. And I think across the board, other than top lane, where I could see especially having an off-roll player against Akali could be a bit tough, but you're a tank, so it's fine. But I think Fnatic Rising some really solid laning matchups in the mid and bot.
Well, we'll have to see how this all plays out as we are onto the Rift. Minions are spawning up fairly soon. Again, only got spoiled at the beginning of the day. No invades, no early plays going down. Lingard on the Ornn duty right now. I really like these MasterCard Nexus insights. I hope we get more of them. What would your one be?
What do you mean?
Like, let's say the game starts and we bring up an Orcs MasterCard insight. What would your one be?
Orcs won the UK Prem in 2017 and still hasn't stopped bringing it up.
XL haven't won since Orcs was on the team.
True.
It's a fact.
Yep.
Scoundrels would just be he's old.
He's a boomer.
He is a boomer.
And yours would be that you farted during the last game. And you were wondering if the audience heard it, so I'm going to make it clear. And you can go back and try and listen on the VOD to see if you can find
I
it.
checked. Anyway. Away from that,
moving
I want to
on.
talk about this Vayne a little bit. This is going to be really exciting. Obviously, one of the things they did talk about was Vayne kind of gets a bit of a target painted on her back. Last thing you want to do is just let a Vayne free fire off in a team fight. So, obviously, that's what they're looking to not happen to them. But what is kind of how do you feel this is going to go, really?
I mean, I feel like in the 2v2 matchup, they're in a really good position. They lose out the shove because obviously Braum doesn't want to walk up to Alistar because that's the only way Alistar's relevant level 1 if you walk in a melee range. And Kai'Sa's shove with a Q is insane. But like once you hit level 3, especially at 6 as well, your dueling is really powerful. Your 2v2 is really strong. If Kai'Sa dives in on you, you're liable just to kill her. And when you look at the side of Barrage, not many champions have an easy time actually dealing with a Vayne. Like, yes, obviously we can see the set jump on her, but his range is short and you can condemn him away. Nidalee can't really hit spears. It's going to be difficult for him to deal with being on this Vayne. So I really like the pick here. A lot of people have been talking about Kai'Sa as a champion. Obviously, she's really strong. There's been a lot of talk about answers for her and different champions you can build out to take her down. Kev are going to be slowed here.
Yeah, Maxi takes so much damage again despite first blood. Maxi was not ready.
Just Kai'Sa things, by the way. Just Kai'Sa things. This champion is not okay, is what I'm going to say about that one. The amount of damage coming out there, but Kevo, and honestly, I think I'm of the opinion, I've spoken to a lot of people. A lot of people feel like this Barrage lineup is pretty strong as regards to the NLC rosters. Some people not as convinced, but I feel like of all of them, Kevo is probably the player I have the most confidence in. I think he is really a strong AD carry. Last split wasn't so great for him, but I think he's a really good player. I think split before that, he had a lot of success in the UK. And already having a pop-off moment against Maxi of all people.
Interesting enough as well, actually, when we talk about the insight we got at the beginning of the game, Fnatic haven't dropped a single title in whatever league they've been in. Fnatic Rising, not the main.
Well, yeah, that was what I was saying. From the LEC.
Fnatic Rising haven't dropped a single title in the main leagues they've played in since forming. And this is the first time we've had no Magic Felix and no X-Mati on the team. So brand new bot lane, brand new mid lane. Obviously, Featherven, not really brand new in the sense that he's been in this org before.
But still, as you said, a massive change. It's only Pride who stayed, and he's not even in this game. So can I just end up being completely new? Do you want to talk a little bit about the current top laner we have, Lingard? He's actually a 16-year-old challenger AD carry.
Wow.
Who was brought on to Fnatic Rising as a sub because the org saw quite a bit of potential in him as an AD carry player, and we get to see him playing on the top lane.
What a way to make your debut.
Yeah,
as an AD carry as well.
It's a bit like Ronaldo when he was playing on Fnatic Rising.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And he just played anything. 1 week support, 1 week top, mid. I think he played, by the end of the split, he played every single role. Although I do admit, I think it was jungle he played last. And I think they did that in like a game that didn't mean anything for the standings, so they just kind of did it as a joke. But either way, like, he was willing to sub anywhere.
Okay, we're getting a pretty nice trade there against the Vayne.
I think the critical
really
thing about
nice combo.
Yeah, I think the critical thing about playing into the Kai'Sa is like making sure there's minions or a Braum to block the Q, because it just does so much damage. Although we do actually see Kevo's opted for the Noonquiver and not the Dirk. Perhaps it was the Goldie backed on, but we often see Dirk being the start. So maybe go to a different build path. I wanted to prioritize his completed items sooner. Could be that he's not going for the collector second, which we often see.
Have we just seen a complete death of like the Nash's Tooth Kai'Sa?
I mean, the problem with Nash's Tooth at the moment is it doesn't give you any CDR.
True, yes.
Which was really nice before. And also because like you're getting a lot more attack speed on your other items, like all the mythic items give attack speed. So you're not as reliant on Nash's Tooth to get your attack speed upgrade. And then like as well, I think the W upgrade's like the worst.
I'm actually looking to turn this around here. It's just going to culling the wave and clip it down. Maxi's going to help him shove in the wave as well, and should just be the base here. Interested to see what items we're going to see come out from the double ADs on Fnatic Rising. Obviously, Kraken Slayer is incredible synergy with Vayne and gives you massive late game damage potential, but obviously the Gale Force offers a lot of safety. Lucian is a champion but uses the Kraken Slayer incredibly effectively as he's able to proc it regularly, but again, same argument for Gale Force. So I'd be interested to see what they decide to go for, if they go for the safety or the damage here.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of them just sync so well with Kraken Slayer. It'd be really surprising not to see them pick it up.
Yeah.
But you know, I've been surprised before. I'm interested to see what Kevo ends up going
last game,
for.
mate. Granny got a win.
True. And I mean, speaking of which, you know, we always talk about Fnatic being one of the big teams to beat. I think XL's roster's really stacked this split as well. But I think Barrage are one of the rosters who potentially could take them down. And considering that Fnatic Rising have a sub, and I'm not always going to say that a sub makes a roster worth. And Lingard's doing great, honestly, in the top lane. But it's obviously not your starting lineup, and Lingard obviously isn't typically a top laner. This could be an opportunity to get an early win against Fnatic, and so far they're holding up fine, but we'll have to see. Obviously, I don't feel confident predicting against any team who has Forbidden when they're in the NLC.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing you want to be tracking, right? How is Febivern's return going to be? Already got a pretty significant lead over Random at the moment. 16 CS up.
I just find it so funny that he's just playing against a player called Random. Just like, oh, who did Febivern play against in NLC? Oh, just some random.
Well, it looks like a fight looks to break out here. Maxi's going to put everybody to sleep. A lot of damage comes into Seth. He might just die here to the Rift Tail. The smite is enough to keep him alive as Rux going to take Random's Qs. He slams into Maxi. Random has to flash the wall, and he's actually out of there. Lingard getting jumped into. Mummers takes him down. And Barrage get the best of the play there. Rift Herald and a kill.
What a play from Random to get out. And then Lingard, you could see he was moving down to assist, and Mummers took that opportunity to pounce the Hextech Alternator. Honestly, a broken item, the amount of damage you get from such a cheap pickup. And it's enough to take Lingard down, so we get a replay here. Aggressive engage comes out from Seth, and it's actually a really nice sleep from Maxi that manages to keep him alive in the situation. So gets that one off, keeps him away from getting ulted by the set. And then the Baron is just, the Herald, sorry, is taken by Debu, and he starts to move away to help with Lingard. And I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a 1-for-1, but this ult into flash from Random, beautifully played to get out. And we're seeing a team with a lead against Fnatic Rising already in the NLC.
Yeah, something I didn't expect to see coming into it. Maybe Foxdrop really was going in with the big brain with his prediction. Steph's looking to collapse onto Bean. Bean is going to move away as he spots him out on the ward. So back in the day, it was kind of, with the Vayne, you'd look for the two items. You'd look for the Blade of the Ruined King and then like the Rage Blade. And then from there, it was kind of like defensive items, like the Phantom Dancer back when it used to give the shield. And that was kind of like your spike, the two items for the Vayne. And then anything beyond that was just a matter of survival. What is the current spike for the Vayne right now?
I think 2 items is still a really big spike. I think a lot of people go Kraken Slayer into Phantom Dancer. And Phantom Dancer gives so much attack speed now. Like, it's really an insane amount. It's like 40% flat, and then you get more. Like, it's kind of like lethal tempo, the way it works. So you just get so much attack speed. And at that point, you kind of just shred anything, especially when there's like a set on the other team. As long as you can, like, move. Obviously, there's a ton of CC on him, but you really just shred the enemy team.
Oh,
and the thing as well is that like Kraken Slayer has a lot of flat damage, and then her W has like a decent amount of flat and then the percentage. So essentially, you're just dealing so much true damage to anyone. It's really difficult.
That is the thing that's going to be hard. It's quite hard to itemize into that when there's just a lot of true damage that can get layered in. Fox is looking to see if he can find a little Q onto Seth, but they're not really feeling the all-in right now.
We are seeing the Moonstone Nidalee come out.
Oh, interesting. We talked about the two different builds. We've had both now today.
May well
More
see the
burst
Moonstone Lily as well. Actually, I think based on the fact that there's a Kindle gem, we are going to see the Moonstone Lily as well. This item is really good for team fighting, and for anyone who isn't too clued up on the new items, this is like a healing item, but you don't need healing to use it. Basically, whenever you're in combat, anytime you use an ability that affects a champion, so if you use an offensive ability or a defensive ability, then you get healing. And it works really well for Lilia because obviously she has dots, so you can consistently look to heal. But essentially, it's kind of similar to how we used to have Athene's on Nidalee, and she get a ton of healing. And then after that, you go Staff of Flow and Water. And that item, whenever you heal an ally, you get AP, and you give them to the target as well. So capable of getting quite a lot of AP on that build, and also offering a ton of healing. So it's pretty powerful. Not quite as much one-hit burst damage coming out from the Nidalee, and not as much dot damage from the Lilia. But particularly when both these teams could be going toe-to-toe in these late-game team fights, it's a solid choice.
Yeah. We are, though, seeing for the moment in this early game, Barrage getting their second dragon. Really significant there. We are looking at a Cloud Soul in this game.
You know what? Barrage just want the game to be over right now. Just call it here. They've won.
They're happy with the state of the game.
They're up 2
Let's
kills,
wrap
up
it
2 dragons, 1,500 gold. We can call this, right? I think ultimately they're in a good position. I think that early skirmish really went a long way for them. They got a good amount of plates as well. Obviously, the Herald helping with that one. But in the later stages, I am still a bit concerned. Those 280 carries on Fnatic Rising are going to be a massive problem. Braum as well in the later stages is going to make things difficult when trying to aggress on them. And it's really, I think Mummus and Kevo are going to be the big factors in the later stages. What they can do to kind of deal with these 80 carries, and also Kevo to get off damage by himself.
It feels like the tempo of this game slowed down a little bit. Barrage do seem to be dictating the control for the moment. It's Fnatic just doing their best to kind of get these items, get this farm under their belt. Both of them still got a pretty hefty lead over Random right now. Bean is behind Kevo, but is up currently in levels, mainly due to the fact that he was isolated in the lane alone for a while. He's able to farm up, but it looks like for now, Fnatic might be looking for a little something. Random's going to get chunked pretty heavily. They're not going to use the Lilting Lullaby to put him to sleep, but Rox does get pulled in by the face breaker. Spear's not going to quite hit its mark, though.
Oh my god, Random's movement is like he's just sidestepping the Lilia bowling ball and the Q from Braum. Like,
he actually was playing that really well.
Yeah, I mean, I think if that snowball had hit, there's potential they could have just thrown the ult down and killed him. So, nifty little getaway. But he is down significantly compared to the Lucian, which is expected. But
it's the Gale Force as well, Bevan. So,
fair enough.
There it is.
Going for that extra mobility. Why have one dash when you can have two?
Oh, Lilting Lullaby is going to get thrown out. They get him up with the ulti. Seth pops ulti himself to keep himself up there for the moment. One more auto attack, and they do get the stun off. A lot of damage, but Seth is so tanky right now. That is going to be the Lilting Lullaby and the Glacial Fissure used by Fnatic.
And the culling.
And the culling. 3 ultimates for the Unbreakable Will from Seth. So, good stuff from him there.
I just really like this from Barrage that they didn't overcommit on that play. They didn't think, okay, they've used their stuff, let's go. They kind of respected the fact that this Lucian is really strong. He has his mythic item completed. And they play defensively.
Bean's in trouble. Bean's ignited. Bean goes back. The spear connects. He gets the blast going away, but the ignite tick might just be enough. The heal will not keep him alive today. And Bean loses his life.
Oh, so close to getting that Alistair stun, but finally he was able to find the kill, and just a really great job. This bot side has been going so well for Barrage, and if there's anyone to get gold funneled into him, Kevo is definitely the person you want.
The Chemchank as well for Lingard on the Ornn here. The Fnatic looking to see if they can get their hands onto this Rift Herald. Half elf at the moment, and it looks like everybody is roaming down. Spear's going to go wide. Everyone's been chunked out pretty heavily here, but here comes the call of the Forge God, and it looks like Fnatic, they're working to fight. Mummus could just find himself on the tail end of so much damage. As Febiven trying to kite away from this Akali, but the Akali comes in. The flash goes down, and now Fnatic, their health bars are just so low. Bean is looking to join up with the rest of the team, though, as Maxi comes in with a slow. Mummus ults back to safety just to threaten Fnatic away from jumping on his jungler.
I mean, no kills. That whole fight's gone on, but look bot lane. and you just see Kevo farming close to picking up a second tower. So that's a win for Barrage.
Yeah, Fnatic losing out pretty heavily there.
Yeah, you can see Bean actually moved up, isn't really comfortable going 1v1 up against Kevo right now, but ultimately the main thing is that he felt his team needed him for the fight. In the end, Fnatic didn't, but maybe Barrage were just specifically backing away because they knew that AD carry wasn't coming. But either way, they get flashes out of Fnatic. Fnatic don't get the Herald, and they get a ton of gold onto Kevo, who's backing now and should just be able to pick up his item and a little bit extra as well.
Yeah, Kraken Slayer just got finished by being on this base, but Kevo, there's the Gale Force and the Serrated, so Q upgrade will now come through.
And
Kevo's going to be hitting like a truck.
Yeah, you got a pickaxe as well, so definitely got that Q upgrade by a large margin.
Collector.
Yeah, and pretty close to the Collector, so I'd actually like to have a look at gold. I think he should be ahead of everyone in the game.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, significantly.
Yes,
so
pretty
hyper fed right now. You can see gold leads everywhere apart from the mid lane. And even then, it's only a 700 lead for that Lucian because the tower's going down. Barrage legitimately looking really good and having a dominating performance so far against Fnatic. Even if it only goes downhill from here, this is still a really strong game for Barrage, considering how dominant Fnatic have always been in the UK scene and in the NLC.
Yeah, really big statement from Barrage to start up here as Cloud Drake is going to get taken down by Barrage, and there's not going to be any response from Fnatic. They're just looking to try and get some turrets, try and get this gold lead back under control. Tier 1 tower in the top side, traded for the 3rd dragon onto Barrage. It's starting to feel a little dire for Fnatic Rising. This is not how they wanted to be starting out with a brand new team here at the NLC. Just look at the damage Kevo does. Random could be getting hurt out here. Goes for the throwback. Gets caught out by the ultimate Feathervins. Culling just gets tanked up by a minion. And now they're getting collapsed onto. Mummus just slides in. And Feathervin, he might just have to try and trade onto Random. Random just pulls him back. And Mummus slides through and takes him out.
Beautiful
Perfectly executed.
Yeah, and Random as well used his ult to dodge away from this sleep because obviously can't CC you while you're in your ultimate, so played that as perfectly as possible. It's often champions like Galio and Set in the mid lane, you don't talk much about the mechanics, but Random is really putting on a class this game and given Feathervim his first death in the NLC. You can see here, so Unstoppable comes up because he ults, dodges away from the sleep, forces Feathervim back, and at this point, there's no way he's getting out. Clean as can be.
Clean as can be indeed. Bean just trying to catch as many waves as possible. It does feel a little worrying for Fnatic right now. They have got this Rift Herald and it looks like they're going to try and slap it down in the mid lane. Got 3 minutes 40 until that Cloud Drake comes up, and this is obviously the point that Fnatic really need to contest. They do not want to give the Cloud Soul over to the likes of the Akali or the Kai'Sa, especially with the Gale Force on the Kai'Sa. She's going to be so hard to pin down, and Rift Herald does damage, but there's nothing else really gained from that.
Yeah, no plates, obviously. Long time away from that. So everyone's sort of got their mythics now. Do you see the Sunfire coming out from Random? Kind of feel like, especially against these champions, they're not going to be in melee range for long. Maybe the Chem Tank would have been better for the engage potential, but
yeah.
Regardless, actually want to see if the Observer could just mouse over the Moonstones. I want to see how much healing they've done so far. It's always crazy to look at the numbers.
I don't know.
1,500. Okay. And 452. One definitely doing more than the other, but
yeah.
This item, the numbers on it, always eclipse every other mythic in the game. By like
goes
such
into
a
Gale
huge
Force.
margin.
Seeing how little Bean's able to do as well. They thought they found a little something onto Seth, but Kevo and Dibu just scare him off every time. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, if you are Barrage, and they're ahead at the moment, but they do not want to give a window for Fnatic to start up a Baron. Even with Bean being behind the double AD carry and the Kraken Slayer on the Vayne, that Baron will liquefy. They do have the control on the map at the moment, and it feels like Fnatic, it would have to be a miracle for them to be able to sneak a Baron away at the moment, but it's just something that Barrage do need to be keenly aware of.
I mean, I think even beyond that, just giving Fnatic time to scale is going to be bad in this one. Giving Bean time to get more items.
Well,
Green Gage coming in.
Fight. There's going to be the slam back. Bean's trying to fire away, but Mummus comes in. Rux takes the Shuriken flip, and Bean just kiting off. So 1 for none as Feathervin just does a fair amount of damage to Kevo. Does force out Dibu to use a bit of a heal there. Staff of Flowing Waters is done as well, so...
And actually, that gives extra... This is really high value, because not only does it give AP to Mummus, which is obviously great, but Kai'Sa has good AP scalings on her passive, on a W, on a Q. So a lot of value from this item now. They're moving towards the Baron. They have started up, and a TP is coming in from Lingard.
Yeah, it's going to
very early ult.
Instantly. Dibu gets knocked up, and that's actually it down. No one else is about. Lingard's ult is slightly questionable, but this is going to force them away for the moment. Being able to dodge away on the spear. Featherman just weaving this damage out while dodging everything. Lingard is going to take a lot, though, from Kevo, and that's going to force him to flash away, but Dibu goes so low, doesn't quite go down. Mummus looking for the assassination. Featherman might lose his life here. Shuriken flip times out, and he's going to have to blink back out. Beam pops the ulti, trying to pump a little bit of additional damage in, but Kevo does a lot in return. Everybody's health bars are blinking on Fnatic. Baron stopped, but that was a little bit too close for comfort. Barrage are just dictating everything at the moment.
Yeah, and I've got to be quick talking about this because we're going to have the dragon any second. So they actually stay on the Baron for a very long time here, even with the Ornult coming in. But you can tell they're just waiting. They want something out of this. They want to start a fight. And Random nearly finds on Featherman, but he's fast enough to dash away. And that kind of slows down this aggression. The damage on the Dibu means they can't heavily commit too much, but they do start to look for damage on Lingard. And I actually thought we were going to see Mummus go for this play here. So gets the Q on a Featherman, lands that, and I thought he was going to go for the ER to kill. But I guess respectful of the flash from Featherman. And ultimately, it ends up being a disengage after this. But both teams low health. Both teams going to have to reset. And Dragon spawning now, and this is Soul for Barrage. And it looks like Fnatic aren't even contesting this.
They're just giving it up. Cloud Soul, it's not the most impactful. And I think a fight right now, they're just not ready for. You can see that Phantom Dancer not finished onto Bean yet. With the Collector, the Gale Force, and a Zeal onto Kevo, he's just so far ahead of Bean. And Fnatic end up conceding every Dragon this game. Really far behind in the gold department. And Barrage just putting on a masterclass here.
I think if you said that Fnatic's first game of the NLC, they were going to be 5,000 gold down at 22 minutes, down Soul, and have 0 kills. And we're like, yeah, okay. All right, dude. But honestly, Barrage have just been playing so well in this game. And obviously, it's always a factor when you don't have your full starting roster. But I think that kind of shies away from what Barrage have been able to do in this one so far. I think Lingard hasn't done a bad job. I don't think he's done anything specifically wrong. Yes, there were... You can maybe argue that the draft could have been different if they had Pride on the roster, but I don't think Lingard has played bad. And I think Barrage have just been better. They've looked like the better team so far. And with the Baron being started up, Fnatic might have to start looking like the better team very soon, or they could be Baronless.
Yeah, they have been for a whole world of hurt. Lingard does have that ultimate. Spear comes down, and Mummus will spot out all of Fnatic as the Swirl Seed goes down. But look for Seth on that flank, and Mummus as well. Featherman and Bean are playing so scared right now, knowing that there's only 3 in the pit. But this Baron is going so low. There's going to be a slam back to stop the call of the forward squad. The fight is on, and Fnatic
the combo.
have to kite this away, but Barrage are looking to run them through. Mummus in the middle of the team, trying to blink out as Maxi loses his life. They do get the stun back off. Everyone's been put to sleep, and Bean is firing away. Now starting to do the work. Mummus goes golden. Kevo jumps forward. There's the knock-up onto 2. Bean is still too weak. He's unable to put the damage down, and Barrage are just running through Fnatic right now. The spear doesn't quite hit, but this should just be Baron to the battleship.
What a team fight there from Barrage. The huge wombo combo. And it looked like the 5-man sleep from Maxi might be enough, but it wasn't. Clutch win there from Barrage. The goal difference too big. This skill coming out from Mummus. And Random just massive. They got the Baron. They got the Soul. They have a 7,000 gold lead against Fnatic Rising.
Unbelievable. Barrage.
Unbelievable.
Looking incredible. I mean, you said it at the beginning, but let's have a little look at this replay first.
Yeah, so, I mean, they are committing to this Baron because they know Seth has a good angle, but this ult does a ton of damage. The wombo combo here is massive at destroying this front line, and very quickly the fight is in favor of Barrage. This 5-man sleep, it looks like it may be able to turn things around, but they're only able to kill 1 member, and you can see Mummus dives in, instantly takes out Vivian, the strongest member on Fnatic, and at that point it's just cleanup. Beautiful execution, beautiful team fighting from Barrage, and to top it all off, they get the blue buff as well.
Yeah. Looking so good. And just To me, it looks like Fnatic, they're starting to run out of options. Sure, the scaling game is in their side, but they're just not getting to scale. Barrage are just not allowing them. They're not taking their foot off the gas at all. Fnatic have only been able to secure 1 turret, while Barrage have picked up 4. And Random, he's bolting towards a couple of members here. Not going to find his opportunity yet. Kevo, just incredibly scary. 3 items on the Kai'Sa. Able to do a lot of burst damage and AoE at the same time. And while Fnatic are trying to deal with this mid lane, top side is getting heavily chunked out. And Mumus, double cannon wave, just going to shove this in. And Devin takes a spear, meaning that Mumus might actually have the assassination potential here. So multiple members have to move over to protect this tower. And that's just going to cost Fnatic a tier 2 mid.
I mean, they are losing so heavily here, and it's they only really deal well with Barrage if they feel strong enough to fight them, if they can engage. They're not in that position. There's no real poke from Fnatic Rising other than the Lilia, and they have so many people who can just soak it up.
Yeah.
Damage being done to these towers, and at this point, it's looking really desperate for Fnatic Rising.
It's looking incredibly desperate. That's going to be the knock-up in Lingard. It's time for the fight. The Call of the Forge God is thrown down.
That
Everyone
combo.
gets knocked up and slammed down. Febiven yet to join the fight. Bean kiting away, but Mumus can just slide in. Kevo gets put to sleep. Kevo gets knocked, but he can't quite get the kill yet. And Kevo gets a quadra kill! Barrage, what the hell was that?
Kevo is smurfing so hard in this game. Absolutely popping off. The whole of Barrage looking great. And this is a game. This is game 1 for Fnatic Rising. And they have lost. Never lost a split before, and they're getting taken out by Barrage of all teams.
The battleship sinks the Titans. 28 minutes on the clock, 13 kills to 1. Barrage put a statement in and beat Fnatic Rising.
Trashes all of our predictions. But I don't think our predictions were wrong. I think... Oh yeah, apart from Foxtrot. Foxtrot actually smurfed it.
I think our predictions were wrong because Barrage just won, right?
No, but
that
I
was
feel
amazing.
I feel like wrong in that sense, but I feel like what I'm saying is I don't think it's wrong to predict Fnatic in that situation.
Yeah.
Because this was a crazy upset. And I don't think anyone expected Barrage to come out this powerful. I mean, there was a lot of thoughts that they were really a good team, but I think everyone was looking at the academies and being like, you know, both of them have got these incredibly high tier players. Arome for XL, Fnatic for Fnatic. It was just crazy. And just got to give credit to Barrage for an amazing game in that one. Really excellent performance.
Yeah, genuinely an incredible performance there from Barrage. Fnatic Rising crumbling on the first day. Overall,
Febiven, 0% win rate in the NLC, by the way.
I random 100% win rate. There we are. With that, Barrage do find themselves the win. Guys, we're going to throw to a quick break, and when we're back, we'll let our analyst desk break that game down a little bit more. See you in a second.
Nothing is as it seems. I feel like I'm in a dream, but that's where I wanna be. And I feel free for the first time. And I feel free for the first time. For the first time. For the first time. For the first time. And I feel free 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 for the first time. For the first time. For the first time.
Stay sweet summertime, sipping in a high. We caught a fever for two. Go together like neon in the night. I know I'm better with you. I know that you see me the way that I am, floating on a feeling with no other plan. You make me feel good, lost in the moment. You make me feel good, hearts running wild. You make me feel good, love like I'm falling. Know that I'm all into you every time. You make me feel good. You make me feel good, hearts running wild. You make me feel good. You make me feel good, hearts running wild. You make me feel good here by my side. I'm in love with every little thing that you do. You're my paradise.
Fnatic got bodied, like actually
Absolutely.
bodied by Barrage.
You
Like,
struggled for a second.
no, I just,
Believe it.
it's just processing. I'm just digesting what we just saw.
Hey, some of us saw it coming.
Yeah,
Just saying, some of us predicted this.
100% agree there, Foxy. Admittedly, Fnatic were playing with a sub, which we weren't aware of before we made the predictions. However, I will add this: I don't think it made a difference. I think that could have been Pride. I don't even think Lingard was the problem. I actually think the entire map just got absolutely slapped silly by Barrage, like genuinely. I think Barrage. I think before this game, I remember Orcs kind of saying, I didn't really want to like spill the beans on this, but most people put Barrage as like a clear third in the entire tournament. I think just assessing the XL and Fnatic being the general 1-2 that we've always seen, but now I'm looking at it and thinking Barrage may be just even top 1. Like they look that good to me, the way that they played that game.
Okay, so yeah, Barrage did look insanely good, no doubt about that. Are they top 1 yet? We'll see through the coming weeks. But one thing that's for sure, I think you're correctly. Your statement about top lane is correct. I don't think that top lane made that difference, because when I was watching Fnatic, it seemed like a team that lacked identity and they lacked actual team play. They were not coordinated in any way. But you take that to the other side of Barrage. We were talking about that bot lane. They are a bot lane who's played together for half a year, and that showed because they were the better bot lane today. Already gaining double buffs onto Kevo in the beginning was just enough to secure them a lead constantly. And Deepu with this Nidalee really making a run for his money, out jungling Maxi as well. I think the draft was absolutely perfect coming out from Barrage. It was beautiful to watch the set as the facilitator, the Alistar as the secondary coming in. We'll see it in some fights, in some replays, but I just gotta say, Barrage is looking insanely hot right now. Are they number 1? Well, they'll have to keep up their consistency.
just gonna go back to where we talked about at the start of how strong, Kai'Sa could be with the Gale Force and the Kraken. I think today we saw both iterations of the champion. We saw the team fight Kai'Sa with the Kraken, and we also saw the assassin Kai'Sa with the Gale Force. And we saw back-to-back 2 first bloods on Kai'Sa that sort of snowballed the entire lane. And this is where you see how strong the champion is and how if he gets even 1 kill, how pressing it can be in a lane. Kevo and Zephyr literally snowballed this entire bot lane into the entirety of the map, and Fnatic could do nothing about that.
Honestly, the whole game was impressive for me from Barrage, and actually we have a familiar face ready to chat to us from Barrage, so I'm going to bring Kevo in for the interview. Kevo, obviously, this is like one of the best ways to start the season. You just beat Fnatic. Obviously, the roster is very different to the Fnatics that we've seen in the past, but you beat Fnatic in the first game of the season. How has the team taken that? How's the team feeling after that win?
Yeah, we're feeling really good. Feels great to start off the season with a win. I mean, obviously they had a substitute top laner, but yeah, win is a win, and I'm waiting forward to playing them again, like when they have their actual top laner as well. Gonna be a banger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't sell yourself short. I don't think that sub top made a difference. I think he bodied them on the whole map, if I'm completely honest with you. But Barrage looking very, very good. I think most people tentatively were saying, "Oh, you're definitely the 3rd best roster." I'm not convinced you're not the best roster in the NLC right now. I think you guys are definitely looking really strong. Obviously, you Barrage have like slowly been going from strength to strength through season. You've been there for quite some time with Barrage. Like, what is the kind of the ethos with the team? Like, you guys have kind of really built on strength and strength. So what has been the ethos for you as a team coming into the NLC?
I'm not sure what ethos means.
Oh, basically, like, what's your mentality like? How do you approach the game and that kind of stuff?
I think we have a very similar approach with our roster. Like, we share the same vision of the game, and we just get along really well, and it shows in game as well. Like, our practice has been really good, and yeah, like, the sky is our limit. We can't wait to play more,
Honestly, I'm really excited to see you guys play for the rest of the season. I think you're gonna provide some banging matches. I've been asking everybody today, obviously, because the new season has started. How have you guys been enjoying preseason? Like, what do you personally make of the preseason changes? Obviously, AD Carry's got quite a lot of stuff going for them right now, but how are you enjoying preseason in general?
I've really liked it, actually. Like, it's really fresh. I like the new items. It's like Gale Force. I mean, yeah, kind of broken, but I don't mind. I don't mind. It's really fun. Like, yeah, I enjoy it.
Of course. I mean, I don't think an AD carry main's going to be telling me he hates the the items this season. But obviously now, like, you've kind of got over that Fnatic hurdle. I mean, which other team do you see as the main threat for the NLC this season? Is it really just XL, or do you think of any other teams that you think are really going to threaten Barrage, as the season goes on?
I mean, we try to treat our opponents like, doesn't matter who they are, like, we treat them equally, and we just focus on like getting better ourselves. Like, our goal is to be better like tomorrow than the day like we were before.
Okay, that's a really good mentality to have, and I'm glad to hear you guys are kind of taking it level-headed approach, really, I think is the way to look at it. So, Kevo, honestly, big congratulations again. It's a big scalp to take on your first day. Again, looking forward to seeing you guys playing more throughout the NLC, and I'll get to chat to you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Kevo's so level-headed. Like, he's such a level-headed guy, and I think that comes across. Like, never gets too excited, never kind of not too cocky either. He like really just takes everything like super chill.
Yeah, he said see you soon. That's kind of cocky, man. He's going to be doing another winners interview.
Hey, no, it's confidence. Okay, so we have obviously a play of the game that we want to break down here, so we're going to jump into that. I believe we're actually switching over to Gulborg to do this one. So, Gulborg,
I'm quite nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I usually
I need triangle. I need triangles. I need squares. I need everything. Like, you need to bring out all the shapes.
Production, you have this. Target acquired. Square. Buried. Here we go. Watch this. All right. Pay attention to Zephyr in the beginning. Usually what he wants to do is, he is Alistar, he has got that flash, and he wants to get that Dream Wombo combo going on, but he is spotted on Vision. Going into this, have a look towards the ult, because he's going to be pivotal in this ultimate that's going to come out from him. As soon as the fight breaks out, pay attention to the position of random when Lingard's will drop. As soon as the ultimate comes down here, and production, I'll give you another one. I'll give you a circle on towards this one. Random is going to be ready with his own ultimate, and this ultimate is going to be absolutely perfect because essentially he's going to be shoving the on into the rest of the team here. You can already see them. Lingard scattering forward with the rest of Fnatic. They're already on the disengage. So when this play actually plays out, it's going to be absolutely insane with the stun from the set into the knockup from the Alistar as the secondary carry. And even though Maxi gets a 5-man sleep, it's not going to matter because they're just so far behind now. Had Fnatic been more into this game, had they got more resources, had they had a better comp to actually play these team fights out, this could have been a pivotal moment and a comeback for Maxi. But essentially, they do not have that. And they just falter to a Barrage who's just been playing insanely well throughout the whole game.
We had 6 squares, 1 circle, and a line. I'll give you a solid 6 out of 10.
That's the best I've ever gotten.
Wait, what did I get?
You got like a 9.2. Yeah, I'll give you.
Holy, okay. There's room for
She really hit
improvement.
the shapes. She really hit the shapes. I've got to be.
But there were no squiggly lines. I was the only one.
Oh, I know. Foxy, look, you got
As
more
well,
chances
Lise.
to redeem yourself. You've got more chances to redeem yourself throughout the week. Don't worry, plenty more chances to get on that drawing board and redeem yourself. Okay, that's it for today. Can't believe it. The first day of the NLC Spring Split has come to a close. Let's have a look at the standings to see where we are right now. Oh no, highlights. Never mind. Highlights. We're gonna have a look at some highlights from today, guys. Talk to me about some of these moments that we saw from our games.
But this feels like already ages ago. The first game of the day, actually having a look onto BTXL against Nordavind. And I gotta say, going into this league, a lot of the rumors was, okay, the organizations are going budget rosters. They don't want to expend too much into it. But coming out already from the first day, I can confidently say that the level is way above of what I had first anticipated. Seeing Barrage coming forward, actually taking down Fnatic, but also Nordavind, even in their loss, they showed a lot of promise. And if you head on to the Godsend versus Granite Gaming matchup, even Granite Gaming, Trouble being the only one knowing apparently about the force they are to be reckoned with, coming out of the gates just bashing.
Yeah, we had 2 underdog wins today, I would say, both in Granite and in Barrage, kind of subverting our expectations. And I think that's really exciting for day 1 of the NLC. And I'm looking forward as it goes on, like, well, were these flukes? Is this something, like you say, Goldborg, do we just have so much talent now in this league that all of these teams can pick out dubs and it's not just like a 2-horse race anymore?
This is the thing that I sort of came across as well, the fact that yeah, sure, maybe they tend to get more rookies to bring more new talent, but I think this is what usually rises the bar for a league, especially like NLC, where we have, the Fnatics and the BTXLs, and then you can say there's like nothing underneath, but now there is. Well, these rookies are coming in and they're dying to prove themselves because let's be honest, EU Masters is waiting, LEC is waiting, all these big leagues are waiting to look at them, to pick them up, and there's just so much talent that's oozing from all the ERLs and even below them, and I think the bar has been raised. I'm really happy for Granite as well because they came in as a bunch of rookies, proving themselves, and I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, and actually, I remember Division's very strict, very openly saying that he was happy to work his way back through the European regional leagues to make it back to that level of play through European Masters and the LEC. So, these are the leagues that you need to keep your eyes on. These are the leagues where you will eventually find that pathway to the top of the European talent pool. So, I think we've got to keep our eyes on some of these newer players coming through that could really surprise us over the next few months. I would not be surprised to see some players that you see in the NLC within a year contending for LEC spots. Potentially even sooner, depending on how explosive they can be. Let's have a look at those standings then for today. We have had 4 games to kick things off over in Group A. The wins were for Tricked and BTXL, as well as Granite. We did cover 3 games rather from the Group A today. So Granite getting that really sort of, I guess, most people anticipated surprise win, but obviously in their eyes, they came in as a kind of really confident roster. And again, just because they're rookies does not mean they're not capable of beating out some of the best talent that we have here in the NLC. I think they proved that in their game today. Going over to Division B. Oh, no, we're coming back to us, then to Division B. And you can see that the anticipated win for Fnatic was not there. Barrage took that win. Foxy was correct. And the Barrage roster looking incredibly strong, I think, in this NLC season. I'm very excited to see how they perform throughout the remainder. And, where Fnatic picked themselves up, with their full roster, when they have Pride back in the top lane, what they will look like when they're, ideally at full strength. So,
Yeah.
guys, no, I was expecting someone to say something.
Yeah, I was.
Fine.
I thought I liked
I
that.
think you rounded it up perfectly, Scoundrel.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
I was doing my best.
It's late, you know. We've clocked out already. What are you doing still talking? Let's go, man.
Okay then, on that bombshell. Tomorrow we have more games coming your way. We've got Singularity versus Riddle, Eminem versus Kova, Dusty versus Godsent, and then we're going to have XL taking on Granite, which I actually think could be a secret banger tomorrow. I think that could be a really good game to round things out with. So we're going to be back at the same time, same place. We'll be here all week from Tuesday to Thursdays. We've got 3 days of broadcasts, so make sure you check out all of them. Thank you for watching today, though. From myself, Ghoulbog, Trouble, Foxy, XXX Razor, XXX, and Master Chef. We'll see you soon.